Hi, I'm Jason Suss, owner of A Proper Pour, a Minneapolis-based private bartending company. I'm excited to be a part of the Minnesota Zoo's 32nd Beastly Bash. As you know, we're unable to be in person this year, so I decided I would show you a signature cocktail that you can make at home while you enjoy and participate in this year's virtual bash. This year's bash will be supporting the Force of Nature effort. It's the zoo's year-long initiative to raise the funds needed to meet its critical animal needs, pay essential staff, and maintain its beautiful 500-acre campus. I thought it would be fun to make a cocktail that highlights different aspects of nature. I also wanted to incorporate one of my favorite experiences at the zoo, where I got to go behind the scenes and feed the grizzly bears. So we're going to make a cocktail called the Cranberry Fizz, because as everybody knows, bears love berries. So we're going to use cranberries and the cranberry juice. We're going to use the juniper berries that are in the gin, allspice berries from the allspice liqueur. Then we'll brighten it up with a little bit of lemon juice, and then top it off with ginger beer for a little spice and the fizz. So if you have a cocktail shaker at home, you can use that. I am going to use my favorite cocktail shaker that happens to be in the shape of a penguin, which is also one of my favorite exhibits at the zoo. Okay, so how we're going to start is with 2 ounces of our gin. I like a London Dry style because the juniper really comes out nicely. We'll add 1 ounce of the cranberry juice, half an ounce of the allspice liqueur. You can usually find that at any liquor store in the liqueur section. And then the lemon juice will just kind of brighten it up, so we'll do a half an ounce of the lemon juice. And now we're going to add our ice. We're going to add a lot of ice to this. We want it to get nice and cold as we shake it up. And then we're going to give our penguin a shake here. Now what I like to do is add the ginger beer right to the shaker. We're going to add about 3 ounces. You can just eyeball it. I usually count 1, 2, 3. That should be good. We'll put the strainer top back on. Grab yourself a tall glass, fill it with fresh ice, and we are going to just pour the drink right into that. And then for a garnish, we'll take a lemon wheel. We want to cut just a little slit in the bottom here. That way it sits nicely on the glass. And then the compostable straw to make it nice and easy to drink. And that is our Cranberry Fizz. Give it a taste. Oh, that's delicious. And speaking of delicious, what would be delicious is if you increased or were a new donor this year, because there is a special donor who has agreed to match up to $250,000 in any new or increased donation. So that's an extra perk that would really help the zoo out a lot this year. We really look forward to and hope for your support. Cheers.
Together.
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 Together, there is nothing we can't do.
Together.
Together.
We can build strong connections between people and the natural world.
Bettering the lives of animals and humans alike.
Join us in keeping the Minnesota Zoo
a natural wonder for generations to come.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us
in being a true force for nature.
Welcome to the Beasley Bash, and thank you for being a force for nature. Well, I know so many of you would love to spend a beautiful night at the Minnesota Zoo this evening. We are so excited to be joining you in your living rooms and dining rooms and kitchens. I'm Heather Brown with WCCO, and I'm honored to be your host for this evening. You know, this year, of course, we've gone virtual like many things, and we want more people to be able to enjoy this event and safely participate. We have 1,700 people strong tonight, and this is about celebrating the Minnesota Zoo, working together to help the zoo close that financial gap due to the impact of COVID-19. And while we aren't all gathering together at the zoo like we typically do for this wonderful Beasley Bash, we promise you're still going to see those animals during tonight's program, because as we all know, the animals are the stars of the show. Now, speaking of the animals, did you know that more than 5,000 animals from around the world call the Minnesota Zoo home? My family, we got lucky enough to take a trip there just a couple of weeks ago. You can see we are all masked up. The zoo is doing this right. So safe, such a great time. They were talking about those bears for days. I'll tell you, they told everyone they knew that bears weigh 1,000 pounds. So you know that these zoo trips stick with these kids and they stick with these parents. The Minnesota Zoo is a unique resource connecting people and animals and the natural world to save the wildlife. So with nearly 500 acres of natural beauty, the Minnesota Zoo is one of the largest zoo campuses in the world and an international leader in conservation efforts. With me tonight, we have a very familiar face to the Beasley Bash. We have auctioneer Andy Imholt from Flattabo Advancements. Good evening, Andy.
Thank you so much, Heather. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here once again. And while I miss not being with everyone in person, I'm so glad that we've come together virtually to help the zoo during this extra challenging time. When the decision was made to close the zoo on March 14th to protect the visitors, the staff, the animals, all in light of COVID-19, well, the needs of the animals did not go away. Tonight we have an opportunity to work together to keep the zoo strong and to help close the gap of lost revenue the zoo experienced during the shutdown. The zoo means so much more to the state of Minnesota, and it means a lot to me and my family. My wife Jessica and our 2 kids did the Beasley, as you can see, did the Beasley Boulevard drive-through in July, and after canceling birthday parties and vacations, getting out of the house and leaving to visit our zoo was definitely the highlight of the summer. Our support of the zoo is needed now more than ever, and we've stretched our goal for this year's Beasley Bash to $600,000. With the support of our community and our donors and our corporate sponsors, I'm confident we can reach the $600,000 goal together. We would like to take a moment to thank our top-level sponsors, Wells Fargo, Wings Financial, and the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux community. And we also want to acknowledge all of our event sponsors. Now, earlier this summer, a zoo board member and their spouse came forward with a $250,000 challenge gift to help the zoo during this financially difficult time. We are pleased to announce that the $250,000 challenge has been met due to the many generous Beasley Bash gifts and other donations. Thank you to everyone who's participated in this challenge. It's just so awesome. Tonight, we invite you to join us in being a force for nature and to help us ensure that the Minnesota Zoo remains a natural wonder today and for generations to come.
Andy, thank you so much. And you can donate at any point this evening. We have made it so easy for you. Let's just take a second to tell you how. You can keep on watching the program on your computer or maybe on your smart TV, but then you should use another device, your phone, your iPad, to donate at mnzoo.org/BeasleyBash. Also, if you gave us your cell phone number at registration, we've texted a link that you can use there to donate, and that link will take you right to your account. Now, we have a brief message from the huge fan of the Minnesota Zoo, and that is Minnesota's Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan.
Hi, Minnesota. This is Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. I'm so excited to be joining you for the Minnesota Zoo Beastly Bash. The Minnesota Zoo is one of my favorite places to visit with my daughter. She's a big fan of the red pandas, and now she has a mask to prove it. But in addition to being a fun space to hang out, the Minnesota Zoo provides invaluable resources to wildlife education and conservation efforts across the state. It's also a space where we can connect to animals and wildlife up close. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we've had to get really creative about how we gather to keep ourselves and each other safe. This has hit some of our favorite places really hard, including the zoo. That's why it's so important for us to invest in the Minnesota Zoo's operations during this incredibly challenging time. And through a drive-through experience and now socially distanced walkthroughs, we are making it work the best way we can. We can get through this together. So thank you, Minnesota Zoo, for everything you do. We've got your back.
Just love her enthusiasm, love her passion for the zoo. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, for those wonderful words. And thanks to the state of Minnesota for your tremendous support. This is truly a public-private partnership to be able to support our Minnesota Zoo. Now, I know you are excited. You want to get right to the animals. So up next is Dr. Lasana Lahner to share what it takes to provide care for all of these beautiful and diverse animals at the Minnesota Zoo.
I've been proud to serve as part of the veterinary medical team at the Minnesota Zoo for 3 years. But actually, I've been part of this team since I was 3 years old when I started coming to the zoo and had birthday parties here as a child. It was the zoo that actually inspired me to care about wildlife and conservation. We provide exceptional medical care for our animals here at the Minnesota Zoo by providing teamwork between the keepers and the veterinarians in our team to provide cutting-edge care for whatever is needed, whether it's great or small. We care for everything from tiny seahorse to actual real wild horse and even the large bison. During COVID, the animal health care needs didn't stop. We were here 7 days a week providing care for everything from a limping moose to a coughing pronghorn fawn. Murray, one of our moose, developed a limp on her foot. We found out that actually she had a small abscess in her hoof. We provided a shoe, much like a horse would wear, and Murray is doing great now. Some of our pronghorn fawns developed a small cough, and they needed antibiotics, just like a child would need antibiotics if they're sick. And the pronghorn fawns are now doing great and running around in their habitat. Your generosity helps support the medical care of these animals and the over 5,000 animals that call the Minnesota Zoo home. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lasana, and thanks to your team for caring for all these mammals, reptiles, birds, fish, even insects at the zoo. You know, it really is amazing to think about all of the resources that it takes, excuse me, to care for the 5,000 animals with such diverse health needs. Now, John Frawley, director of the Minnesota Zoo and president of the Minnesota Zoo Foundation, shares more insights on what life has been like at the zoo during the pandemic.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining our Beastly Bash, and thank you so much for being part of our Force for Nature. You know, as you can guess, this year Beastly Bash is more important than ever with the pandemic, and as you know, we closed on March 14th, which was such a tough thing to do, but we wanted to be part of the solution of flattening the curve here in Minnesota. We also wanted to make sure we were protecting our employees and keeping our employees safe from the pandemic. And then we learned a little bit later that we had to protect the animals too, because they're susceptible to COVID-19. So it's been super hard. The financial impact caused us to freeze budgets, cut expenses, and our staff were affected. We had to lay off staff, and that was one of the hardest things ever because these are passionate staff that cared so much about the zoo. But through it all, I think that I gotta say there's been so much extra effort and so much work that the staff have gone through setting up a plan to recover from impacts of COVID. I think a lot of you, and thank you so much, experienced our BC Boulevard drive-through zoo where 12,000 cars drove through the zoo and supported the zoo. That was huge, and now we're moving into a safe zoo experience, opening in July. One of our goals for reopening was to make it really safe and trusted as an experience. The zoo staff have just knocked that out of the park. So we're super excited about being back open in a safe way. You know, our mission is to connect people to animals and the natural world to save wildlife. And if you think about it, connecting people to animals right now, people need animals. They love animals. Animals are inspiring, they're entertaining, and they're educational. And I think this really helps people get through their day when they have an experience with an animal. We have over 5,000 animals at the zoo. We're so excited people get to connect to them. You know, in the middle of our mission, we talk about connecting people to the natural world. Well, that's one thing the pandemic has shown us is we need to be connected to the natural world. We need to get away from the screens and media and get outside. And if it's a neighborhood, if it's a walk in a park, if it's the zoo, connecting to nature has never been more important for our communities. Lastly, the part of our mission is about saving wildlife. You know, saving wildlife is core to the Minnesota Zoo. We're one of the top conservation zoos in the nation or even the world. We've always been known about our conservation. There's over 32,000 species that are threatened with extinction. You know, the zoo plays a vital role in stopping that and turning that around with many species around the globe. So this is important. We have a great mission. The other thing that we're seeing right now with COVID-19, the pandemic, is people need to go someplace safe. A lot of families are underserved. Well, our Free to Explore program lets them in for free. So they have a place to go that's safe, and then they can go back to their home. These are the things that you have helped us, you know, give to Minnesota, give to our communities. We can't do any of this without you. So, you know, to end, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for supporting our staff, our volunteers, our foundation. Thank you for supporting our animals. We could not do this without you. So thank you for tonight, and thank you for being a force for nature.
Those images, just incredible reminder of just how important this Minnesota Zoo is for all of us here across the state. Thank you, John. Thank you to your whole team of staff and volunteers for your commitment to the animals and for making the zoo a resource for all Minnesotans. The zoo matters, and let's tell you why.
The Minnesota Zoo matters because it's a resource for learning. It's a great place for people of all ages to connect with nature.
I have lots of good memories coming here with my family as a kid.
It gave me like a huge amount of wonder to see all the animals and see that they were safe.
It's really where I realized that I wanted to have a career in either animal care or educating people about nature.
It's important to connect people and animals and nature at a time when people are craving connection.
Our mission of connecting people in the natural world, we work on that every single day through pretty much every department out here.
The Minnesota Zoo is a cultural gem for our state, and it brings millions of people in contact face to face with nature every year.
People who visit the zoo, you know, there's like a greater understanding and a greater feeling of personal pride and responsibility when you actually get to encounter these animals up close.
We have a number of species here that at one point or currently are not found in the wild, and we can participate in breeding programs to create a population that could potentially go back home to the wild.
We're able to leverage our expertise in animal care and husbandry to be able to do conservation that other organizations just wouldn't be able to do.
Whether it's our work with the black rhinos in Namibia or if it's work with the freshwater mussels here in Minnesota, it makes a real connection for Minnesota citizens.
It is truly a community asset, but it's a place that is almost like family. There are so many people who are passionate about the work of the zoo.
We love our jobs. This is a place that we love to work.
One of the really fun things we do is we see groups of kids.
They have the Takins, Amur tigers, the Komodo dragon.
We've had our grandchildren here, and the first thing they always want to see is the family farm. When our grandchildren from New York City walked by the milking parlor, their mother wasn't really sure that they should see it, but we couldn't keep the kids out of there. It was just a once in a lifetime for New Yorkers.
A visit to the zoo provides opportunities for kids that they wouldn't otherwise ever have on their own. It opens their eyes to new career opportunities, new adventures, and just getting into the wild and having a little bit of fun.
This is where Benji took his first steps. When Benji was a toddler, he struggled with learning how to walk. I was holding his hand walking through Discovery Bay, and he just all of a sudden let go of my hand and just started walking by himself. I'll never forget it.
For me, it's so linked into sparking children's interest in science and the environment that it would be a loss not to have it.
Only about a third of the support for the zoo comes from the state. It is a state zoo, one of very few in the country. and the other 2/3 is earned and contributed revenue.
Everyone who buys a ticket here, everyone who buys a membership, everyone who donates $1 is a member of our team.
I gave $1 to the Minnesota Zoo so the animals can eat. We put on like a dance performance, and we basically had a concession stand and ended up raising $60.
I have gotten so much enjoyment out of not just visiting the tigers and seeing the other animals, but just using the zoo that I felt I needed to support it personally.
Whether you come here with your family, whether you're a supporter because of the important conservation work that we do, or whether you're just filled with pride because it is such a rich Minnesota treasure, the zoo matters to Minnesota because it's ours.
Oh my goodness, Andy, those girls, the little one who raised $1 and baby Benji taking his first steps.
Oh my gosh, that just gets
oh man. There you go. As you can see, the zoo means so much to so many people in our community, and donations of all sizes, from the $60 that those two girls in the video raised and the $1 that that little boy donated, to several figure donations. All of it makes a difference, and all of it is appreciated. So as we shared earlier, it's your generosity, and it's needed now more than ever to help fill that gap of lost revenue when the zoo did need to close to the public. It was 3 months. It's a long time. The zoo has reopened, as you know, but it is operating at a lower visitor capacity, and that's really to keep everyone safe, including the animals, which means continued losses in revenue. So your support will ensure that the zoo can continue providing quality care for those animals, retain the excellent staff, and continue making this beautiful natural wonder a resource for all Minnesotans. As we mentioned before, it is so easy to donate. Let's just give you a little reminder about how to do it. Keep on watching this program, whether you're doing it on your computer, maybe on your smart TV. Then use another device, whether it's your phone or your iPad. Donate at mnzoo.org/beastlybash. Or if you gave us your cell phone number at registration, we've texted the link so that you can use that to donate, and that link will take you right to your account.
As we shared earlier, our stretch goal for this year's Beastly Bash is $600,000. The zoo has such generous supporters. Heather, I'm optimistic that we can do this. We are already at over $283,000, and each year at the Beastly Bash, we have a portion of the evening called our Fund a Need. During the Fund a Need, we work together to raise much needed support for zoo programs. Tonight is no different. And helping us kick off the Fund a Need are some longtime generous donors. Charlene Junt and Peter Meritz with a $20,000 gift. Charlene and Peter, thank you for all that you have done in support of the zoo. And thank you to Charlene for serving as the chair of this year's Beastly Bash Committee. Let's give them a big round of applause wherever you are at home. Yes. You know, $20,000 is amazing, and there were some other people that stepped forward as well. We have other donations that came in. Chet and Sharon Ellingson and Al and Tony Katie, thank you. I was just told that there's another $20,000. So if you want to give $20,000, feel free to grab your device right now and make that happen. Join us at that $20,000 level. You know, also another donation tonight that we received is from Kate Curry and Tim Mulcahy. They've also made a leadership gift, so thank you so very much. Maybe the $10,000 level is where you want to join a couple of our donors, Gene Taylor and Mark and Don Larson, as well as Julie Kunkel and Tom Hall. Let's give all three of those donors a big round of applause at that $10,000 level. At $5,000, Nancy Sweet joined us there and contributed, so thank you, Nancy, for doing that. All of these levels are available to you, and so much more. Please know that whatever you're able to give tonight, whether it be $25,000, $2,500, $250, or $100, your generosity makes a difference. And we are grateful for each and every one of you, whether you are a longtime supporter or contributing to the zoo for the first time. Heather, do you want to share some exciting news?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And Andy, I'm seeing those numbers tick right up there.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to several generous gifts that came in over this past week, we now have a $100,000 challenge for tonight's giving. So that means that all of their donations of $10,000 or less will be matched, dollar for dollar, up to a total of $100,000.
This is such great news, and I want to thank, you know, when we get a match like this that comes forward, it is truly just inspiring, and we wanted to inspire you to give. But first, we want to thank these extremely generous donors who made this $100,000 match possible. Jim and Carmen Campbell, thank you. Ned and Sherry Ann Dayton, thank you. Janine Rivet and Warren Herod, thank you. And Bob and Celeste Ricada, thank you so very much. Let's give them a big round of applause. That's $100,000 that we want to maximize, but we can't do it without you. This is your opportunity. We'd love to have as many people as possible participate in us and help us reach that fundraising goal and meet this match. That means whatever you can donate, whether it be $100, $250, $500, $5,000, or a higher or lower amount, whatever you can do will truly make a difference for the animals and everyone who benefits from the Minnesota Zoo. You know, I know we have some examples.
We do, because let's translate this a little
Yeah,
bit.
what
about
does a donation mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And so if we're talking about a $2,500 donation, a $2,500 donation, that will feed a black bear for an entire year. A gift of $1,000. There you can provide a year's worth of mussels and clams for all the otters and stingrays and sharks and sea turtles, because we know everybody loves those. And clams and $1,000 of clams and mussels, that's pretty darn good.
Who doesn't love some $1,000 of seafood? That sounds like a party, let me tell you. Remember, at the $500 level, you can pay for medicines like antibiotics, like we saw Dr. Lasana talk about and describe tonight. You know, our children get sick and need medicine. We would never, you know, we would do whatever we can to provide that. Let's do the same for the animals so that they can be healthy and they can continue to thrive at our zoo.
Right. And then, of course, a gift of $250 also makes a huge impact. That provides supplies to the conservation staff as they reintroduce endangered species in Minnesota, because we know the zoo has an incredible endangered species program.
Yeah, so, you know, ladies and gentlemen, tonight your donations mean so much, and we want to thank each and every one of you for helping us work towards our goal tonight.
Andy, last night that number is ticking up and up and up and up. We are getting so close.
Absolutely.
It is so exciting.
I know. This is a really powerful moment. This can be a really powerful moment. Over $483,000.
Oh, look at that support rolling in. I know we have staff members watching here tonight as these donations come in. We, of course, Andy, will be giving you an update at the end of the show. But before we do that, let's get to Dr. Rahul Khurana sharing a few words on the health benefits of nature. We know that's so important, especially right now. Now, Dr. Khurana is a very busy guy these days, president and CEO of the Minnesota Hospital Association. He also serves on the zoo's board of trustees.
I'm Rahul Khurana, and I am so privileged and honored to serve on the zoo board. I first came to the zoo not through its nature task force, where we rediscovered the mission and the vision of the zoo, or through the board of directors. I first came through the zoo with my 3 kids. The Minnesota Zoo is truly a statewide resource for all of us across the state, across all the communities, all the metro areas, all the greater Minnesota cities and communities across the state. As a physician that trained at the University of Minnesota and that has practiced in many places across the state, I can speak to the health benefits of being in nature. You know, nature has proven to benefit human health and well-being. Evidence clearly points to that. And right now in the COVID-19 pandemic, never before has physical and mental health and the concerns about both of those together been more important. As I walk across the Minnesota Zoo with my spouse and my 3 kids, I have felt the stresses of the work week melt away as I am with nature, with the animals, the birds, the trails, the flowers, the bees, and never before has the conservation centrality of the mission of Minnesota Zoo been more important to me and to us as a state. So I hope that you will continue to support the Minnesota Zoo. The fact that you are here at the Beasley Bash shows that you're interested, that you're willing and able to partner and make this statewide asset be much more than what it already is. Together, I know we can do it. Thank you so much.
Could not agree with you more, Dr. Karani. Thank you so much. The peace, the tranquility, the smiles on the children's faces at that zoo is so necessary, especially now. Now, we know without a doubt, one of the best things we can do is take time in that nature, and of course, not a better place than the Minnesota Zoo. So we want to thank you so much for being part of this very important evening. And together, there's really nothing we can't do, even virtually, in building strong connections between people and the natural world.
You know, we are so grateful for the amazing generosity of all of our supporters. In fact, like we said, we had another $20,000 donation come in today just during the program. Ken and Linda Cutler, thank you so very much for that $20,000 donation. That was truly incredible and inspiring. You know, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we've raised over $500,000 in just the last week. I mean, this is just truly incredible.
It's just been amazing watching these numbers tick up, and the generosity of the people sitting at home. We're so appreciative.
Yeah, this is obviously, these are the smartest, best looking, most above average people.
The greatest Minnesotans of all time are watching
from
right
around
now.
the world, more than just Minnesotans at heart, I will even say. I would go so far as to say, thank you. Yes. Thank you for joining us tonight. And you know, there's still time for you to participate and encourage your friends and family. You know, maybe you haven't yet had a chance to reach out to anybody else and you want to share this mission, share this information with them. Please do that. Know that you can still give at these links all weekend long. You can give and you can share your love for the zoo and continue to build support for the zoo.
And these numbers are still going up on behalf of the animals. We will speak on behalf of the animals tonight. Yep, the staff, the volunteers, and all of the Minnesotans, probably some Wisconsinites there, who benefit from the wonderful treasure that we know as our Minnesota Zoo. Thank you for being a force for nature.
We're so glad that you could join us this evening. Whether you have been a longtime supporter of the zoo, whether you've just come for the first time, or whether you're really intrigued about the zoo and what you've heard tonight, we can't thank you enough for being a force of nature.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, donors.
Thank you for supporting the Minnesota Zoo.
Thank you so much for donating to the Minnesota Zoo.
We couldn't do it without you. Your help makes everything possible, from our programs that we do to our conservation efforts around the world and right here in our own state.
It really helps out to see the donations come in, the comments that you're leaving online, and the support that we've gotten over the last few months. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your support in helping us to preserve wildlife.
And I would sure like to thank everybody for supporting the Minnesota Zoo, and I'm sure the animals that live here would like to thank them as well.
It means a lot to the animals and the people around us to see animals so happy and so safe and so healthy.
Thank you for supporting the Minnesota Zoo and their many programs, including Free to Explore, which allows opportunities for low-income kids and families to enjoy everything the zoo has to offer.
Thank you so much for your generous donations towards this fabulous organization.
Thank you for your support of the Minnesota Zoo.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you everyone for giving to the zoo. Thank you for giving the Minnesota Zoo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We thank you because you make a difference.